In a world where darkness often seems louder than light, where voices of truth are drowned by the noise of distraction, the sacred words of Genesis still echo with unshakable power. Verses 41 to 60 carry a divine whisper that speaks across the ages, calling hearts back to purpose, to faith, and to the eternal truth written by the hand of God Himself. These verses are not merely ancient words on fragile parchment, they are a living compass, guiding every soul who dares to listen. Within these verses lies a story not just about Joseph, but about every one of us who has ever faced rejection, betrayal, or unimaginable hardship. It is the unfolding of divine strategy, where pain is not wasted and suffering is not meaningless. Joseph's rise from the prison to the palace is more than a historical event, it is a promise. A promise that when life seems unfair, when the nights stretch endlessly and the silence becomes unbearable, God is still working in the background. He sees, He hears, He remembers. Fear has a way of wrapping itself around the heart, especially when the future is unclear. Maybe you've stood where Joseph stood, in chains, surrounded by uncertainty. Maybe your dreams have felt crushed under the weight of betrayal, and your hopes locked away in a prison of doubt. But these verses remind us that the same God who turned Joseph's mourning into honor is still on the throne today. He hasn't changed. His power has not diminished. What He did then, He can do now. Genesis does not merely tell a story, it awakens one. It awakens the realization that every valley has a purpose. Every delay is divine. Joseph's journey was not a mistake, it was a masterpiece in progress. Pharaoh didn't just call him by chance, it was God's perfect timing. The years Joseph spent in the shadows were preparation for the brightness that awaited him. And if you're in the shadows now, let this speak to your spirit, your breakthrough could be closer than you think. Excitement builds as the narrative unfolds. The very ruler of Egypt entrusts his kingdom to a Hebrew prisoner. In a single day, Joseph is elevated from the dungeon to become second in command. That kind of transformation is not luck, it is the fingerprint of God. And if He could lift Joseph in such a miraculous way, imagine what He can do with your life when you fully surrender to His timing and trust in His promises. Urgency grips the heart when you realize how fragile time really is. So many spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect sign, the perfect condition. But the truth is, the call of God doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It only waits for your yes. The world is changing rapidly. We see chaos, division, fear, and confusion at every turn. These are not days to be spiritually asleep. These are days to rise, to seek, to dig deep into the Word of God and anchor ourselves in truth. The same God who placed Joseph exactly where he needed to be is still orchestrating destinies today. The famine that was about to strike Egypt was not just a problem, it was a divine setup. Without it, Joseph's gift would never have been revealed. Likewise, the challenges in your life may be the very stage on which your purpose will be displayed. Don't despise the struggle, embrace it, it may be the soil from which your destiny will bloom. Genesis 41 to 60 is a holy reminder that elevation often follows preparation. Joseph had to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, but more than that, he had to carry the wisdom to act on them. Wisdom born not in a palace, but in pain. Not in comfort, but in perseverance. And so it is with us. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every season of silence is doing something sacred within. God is building leaders in the quiet, warriors in the waiting, and prophets in the pain. This is not just a story to read. It is a mirror to look into. It is a challenge to trust when you don't understand, to hope when everything seems lost, and to rise when life pushes you down. These verses scream with purpose. They burn with the fire of divine intention, and they call each of us to stop playing small with our lives. God didn't create you to blend in. He created you to stand out, to be a beacon of hope, and to reflect His glory in a broken world. What if the prison you're in now is only a chapter, not the ending? What if the people who forgot you were merely setting the stage for someone greater to remember you? What if your darkest moment is about to become your greatest testimony? God doesn't just rescue, He restores. He doesn't just elevate, He establishes. When Joseph was given Pharaoh's ring, robe, and authority, it wasn't just an outward promotion. It was God confirming what had already been birthed in the secret place. Let this sink deep into your spirit. God is still writing your story. And if you feel like the ink has dried or the pages are torn, know that His hand is steady. He does not abandon what He begins. If Joseph had given up in prison, the story would have ended before the miracle. Don't give up now. Your moment is coming. Your audience is being prepared. Your purpose is about to be revealed. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep moving forward. This is not the time to drift. It's the time to draw closer to the only truth that remains unshaken. The world may offer quick fixes and shallow answers, but only the Word of God has stood the test of time. These verses are not entertainment, they are empowerment. They are divine oxygen for a suffocating soul, and they are available to anyone who dares to believe again. If this message stirred something inside you, if it reminded you of who you really are and who you belong to, then don't let it fade. Let it spark a fire that refuses to go out. Share this truth. Speak it. Live it. The world needs voices of faith more than ever. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, Shining Truths, so you never miss a moment of inspiration, revelation, and unshakable hope. Let us walk this journey together, with eyes fixed on truth and hearts ablaze with purpose.